Hey guys, so we're back for yet another read aloud. I think this is 21 now, and we're on chapter 19 of our book, and it's called The Thornbrush Pit. So remember last time that we read, Connor and Alex met the little mermaid. How cool was that? And the mermaids have just kind of transported Alex and Connor on the clamshell and brought them to the Thornbrush Pit, where remember we found the saber from the deepest sea was thrown in there by the previous guy who was on the trail of the wishing spell items because he didn't follow his promise of completely destroying it. Do you remember that? And we also know, well, we have known, but Alex and Connor just found out that they've known that the evil queen is after the wishing spell too, but now they know it can only be used one more time. Gosh, guys, we don't have a whole lot of the book left. We're getting there. Thornbush Pit. The mermaids escorted the twins through the ocean and up a river into the northern part of the Sleeping Kingdom. Alex and Connor were only a few miles away from the Thornbush Pit and began their walk to the place where they would find the last wishing spell item. How do we get the wishing spell to work once we find the knife? Connor asked. I think we just put all the items together and let them do the rest, Alex said. I suppose, Connor said. The land was dead and dry around them. The roads were bumpy and covered in stone. It was by far the least attractive area they had been to in all of the Land of Stories. I don't know about you, but I'm so looking forward to getting out of this place, Connor said. I know what you mean, Alex said, half-heartedly. I miss Mom so much. Why do you think she's saying it half-heartedly? I think it's true she misses Mom. Do you think she's also enjoying being in the Land of Stories? Remember, she kind of feels like all the storybook characters are family because she doesn't really have a lot of friends or connections in the real world. I can't wait to get back to... Oh, sorry, wrong character. I can't wait to get back to air conditioning and television, Connor said. Boy, have I missed those things. And food. Don't get me started about food. I bet we have so much homework to catch up on, Alex said happily. Would you guys be happy about having a boatload of homework to catch up on? I'm a teacher and I don't even want to do that. Ugh. Connor grunted. I didn't even think about that. He also wondered if he would have to serve all those detentions when he got home as well. Do you remember Connor getting all the detentions? Was it for falling asleep or was it because he hit the teacher with a book? I think it was when he hit the teacher with a book, wasn't it? Would being trapped in the fairy tale world for a week or two get him out of it? Alex completely sympathized with her brother. She had been so excited to discover the Land of Stories, but they had so many treacherous experiences that even she was anxious to get home. But now, looking around at the land, even as ugly as this part of the kingdom was, she couldn't help but think she was going to miss it. We have seen some amazing things, Alex said. Very true, Connor said. And we've met some extraordinary people, she said. Can't deny that, Connor said, shaking his head. It's a shame that we can't come and go to this place as we please, Alex said. You don't think you'll miss it just a tiny bit? Connor immediately shook his head, and his mouth positioned in the shape to say, no. But when he thought about it more, he hesitated. We've had our moments, Connor said. We're definitely leaving with memories no one else will have. Think about all the stories we'll be able to tell our kids someday. Right, Alex said. This only made her think about their father. Without realizing it, being in the Land of Stories had filled their emptiness they were left with when their dad died. Discovering that their dad was actually from the fairy tale world had been the most meaningful part of the adventure. Mom and Grandma are going to have so much explaining to do, Connor said. For sure, Alex agreed. I wonder where Dad lived. We'll find out, Connor said, and smiled. I wonder if knew any of the people that we've met or seen. I wonder if we have family here. Those are all questions I want to know too, don't you? Yeah. Alex stopped walking. Her eyes grew almost as big as her open mouth. What if we're related to the Charming or the White Dynasties? Alex proclaimed excitedly. Or maybe we're 1/6 ogre or elf or something cool, Connor said. The idea gave them a new boost in their step. They finally reached the thornbush pit and stopped dead in their tracks. It was a frightening sight. It was extremely wide and incredibly deep and filled to the top with plants, some dead and some alive. The vines and thornbush moved around like thousands of snakes. The pit was alive and hungry. Ruins of an old castle sat on the edge of the pit, consisting of nothing but a few walls and a stony staircase that led to nowhere. We're actually going in there, Connor said. Let's pull out our shells, Alex said. Do you remember they got the shell necklaces from the mermaids that would keep them safe? But remember, the necklaces are twins. If one breaks, so does the other. They each tied a shell necklace around their neck and slowly walked to the edge of the pit. The vines and thornbush shot straight toward them, like a frog's tongue to a fly. What type of figure language was that? The thornbush shot through them like a frog's tongue to the fly. It's comparing it using like our ass, so it's a simile. Good job. But then jolted back, repelled by the magic shells. Looks like they work, Connor said. They began to climb down to the pit. They used the dead thornbush on the side of the pit as a ladder, scratching themselves and drawing blood on different parts of their bodies every few feet. The thornbush and vines were alive and moved away from the twins as they passed. They watched them like hungry serpents, ready to strike at any second. What type of figure of language is that? They watched them like hungry serpents, ready to strike at any second. It's comparing using like our ass. Good job, it's a simile. Alex and Connor climbed as low as they could. The pit floor was covered in rubbish, like a giant junkyard. Covered in rubbish, like a giant junkyard. There it was again, comparing using like our ass. This page is full of similes, isn't it? Very descriptive. The smell was unbearable, and the twins had to cover their noses as they searched. Whoa, Connor said. This is like a massive trash bin. There it was again, like a massive trash bin. Can you imagine all the secrets we would discover by just going through this place? Remember what we're here for, Alex said, and then suddenly screamed, "Ah! What is it?" Connor asked. She'd almost stepped on the hand of a skeleton. I'd screamed too. Who is that? Connor said. Or should I say, who was that? I don't want to know, Alex said, shaken up by the discovery. I'd never seen a skeleton before. It was the first of dozens. There were skeletons and parts of skeletons everywhere. So how would you describe this pit then, if they're finding skeletons all over the place? It must be very what? Yeah, very deadly. There's dead bodies all over in there. Each one was harder to look at than the next. Some had been down there longer than others. Alex had to take a deep breath to prevent herself from getting sick. They found countless knives and daggers and swords scattered across the pit. Is this it? Connor asked, holding it up for his sister to see. No, that's wooden, Alex said. What about this? He asked, holding up another. No, that's made of steel. Remember, it was made in the ocean. Oh, Connor said, like this. He held up a knife that matched his sister's description perfectly. It had a curved handle that was made of coral and bits of shell, and a long blade made of bright sea glass. That has to be it, Connor said. We did it. We found the last wishing spell item. She gave her brother a huge bear hug and kissed him on the cheek. They were so incredibly happy. Tears formed in their eyes. They were going home. Hold on, my mom's calling. Hey, I'm doing a read aloud. What do you need? I'm filming a read aloud. What do you need? No problem. Bye. Sorry about that. Let's get out of this pit as fast as possible, Connor said. It gives me the creeps. The twins went back to the dead thorn bush and began climbing up the side of the pit. When they were 2/3 the way up, a branch caught hold of Connor's necklace and ripped it off his neck. As it were happening in slow motion, Connor saw the shell begin to fall away from him toward the bottom of the pit. Uh-oh. He reached for it, but it was too late. It was gone. Alex and Connor looked down at the broken shell and looked at each other with the same horrified expression. Oops, Connor whispered. The living vines in the thorn bush vibrated with excitement. The shells were useless now. Vines began shooting towards the twins. We've got to get out of here, Alex yelled as the twins rushed up the side of the pit, faster than they had ever climbed anything before. Their fingertips were just about to reach the top of the pit when the vines wrapped themselves around Alex and Connor's feet and dragged them downward. Connor stabbed the saber into the ground outside the mouth of the pit, and he and his sister held on to it while they were being pulled, determined not to end up like the other victims of the vines. More vines wrapped around the twins, increasing the fight. Alex and Connor were nearly completely covered in plants. Alex lost her grip, and the knife began to fall back into the pit. But Connor grabbed hold of her just in time. He couldn't hold on to both for much longer. One by one, his fingers began slipping from the knife's handle. Connor lost his grip on the knife, and he and his sister were both dragged away. But right as his hand slipped, he felt a cold, clammy hand grab onto his and try to pull him and his sister out of the pit. It was a struggle, but the plants weren't giving up. Alex and Connor felt like a rope in the game of tug of war. Darn you miserable plants, said a proper voice that the twins recognized. Let them go, you overly advanced shrubbery. With one final tug, most of the vines broke, and Alex and Connor were saved. Their momentum piled them on top of whoever saved them. Guys, who do you think saved them? Who do we know in this story that talks very proper? Froggy, Alex declared and gave their old friend a tremendous embrace. It's you, Connor said, although he had trouble shaking Froggy's hand when they met him first. Connor was now hugging him like he was a long-lost relative. Hello, Connor. Alex, Froggy said. He was almost suffocated by their affection. You saved our lives, Alex said. How'd you know we were here? Connor asked. Froggy got to his feet, straightened the tie of his suit, and helped the twins up. I've been looking for you two for days, Froggy said. The amount of ground you've covered is remarkable. Thank goodness I've crossed paths with those mermaids, or I would have never found you. I'm so proud of you, Alex said. You're out of the house. You're out in the world. What made you come out of a hole in the ground? Connor said. The fairy godmother is looking for you two, Froggy said. The twins were very surprised and confused to hear this. What? Connor said. What does she want to do with us? Oh no, Alex said. The glass slipper. She must know that I broke it and is furious. Glass slipper, Froggy said with a raised eyebrow. Alex shyly looked around. Well, yes, she said. We've been busy collecting. She opened the bag and let Froggy peer into it. You've collected all of the wishing spell items already? Froggy asked. He wasn't sure whether to be proud or shocked. Yep, Connor said, pulling the knife out of the ground. And believe me, it wasn't easy. We've got the last item, Alex said happily. We can go home. Froggy was speechless. These two children had done something he had only dreamed of doing for years. That's extraordinary, children, Froggy said, but his happy expression deflated to a worried one. But you can't go home yet. Why not? Alex asked. Yeah, Connor said, why not? Froggy was the one who had introduced them to the wishing spell in the first place. Why was he saying they couldn't use it now? I promised the fairy godmother that I would bring you to her, Froggy said. And in exchange, she said that she would turn me back into my human form. Please, you must let me take you to her. The twins could tell he didn't want to ask this of them, but he was desperately hoping they would agree. Froggy, you have no idea what we've been through to get these items, Alex said. We want to go home, Connor added. Now. We want to help, Alex said. But what if the fairy godmother takes away the items we've, how do I say this, forcefully borrowed? Then we'd be stuck here again for who knows how long, Connor said. Froggy looked ashamed of himself. I understand, children. Forgive me. I wasn't expecting you to have assembled all of the wishing spell items so soon. He tried to cover his disappointment with a fake smile. Can I help you assemble the wishing spell then? Alex and Connor each looked at each other, feeling incredibly guilty. They wanted to get home more than anything, but how could they tell him no? He had done so much for them. I suppose sticking around for another day wouldn't be so bad, Connor said, knowing his sister was thinking the exact same thing. It would be a shame to end our journey here, Alex said. Children, you can't stay from me, Froggy said. You've got everything you need. Please don't let me stop you. We'd still be lost in the dwarf forest without you, Froggy, Alex said. And the fairy godmother tries to take our stuff. We'll just run like crazy away from her, Connor said. We've gotten so good at it. You've got to see us in action. Froggy's big round eyes became more watery than usual. Children, you are the kindest souls that I have ever had the fortune of meeting. The twins smiled at him. Doing this for him made them feel better than they had felt the entire stay in the lake stories. Where to? Alex asked him. Suddenly, a piercing scream sounded across the land. All three of them jerked their heads towards it. Let me go! A woman screamed. What's going on? Alex asked. As soon they heard galloping horses approach and felt thumps of its hooves through the ground. Coming toward them full force from the distance was a familiar cream-colored horse. It's Porridge, Connor said, and Goldilocks. Goldilocks and Porridge were charging toward the thornbush pit, and they were dragging Queen Red Riding Hood behind them. The twins and Froggy stood motionless in the sight of it. They thought their eyes were playing tricks on their brains. Do you see that too, or am I imagining it? Connor asked. I order you to release me at once, Red Riding Hood said. Her dress was so big and layered that she wasn't harmed from being dragged, but she was aggravated. Do you have any idea what my soldiers are going to do to you once they catch you? Oh, shut up, you red-headed woman, Goldilocks said. She and Porridge stopped a short distance from the twins and Froggy. Goldilocks hopped down and dragged Red Riding Hood past them to the thornbush pit. She vaguely recognized the twins. I remember you, Goldilocks said. Hi there, Alex said. Do you need a hand? Connor asked. Nope, Goldilocks said. Just taking out the trash. What are you three doing just sitting there? Red screamed. Help me! I said silence, you basket-carrying woman, Goldilocks said, and dragged her closer to the pit. What's going on? Alex said. And she and Connor and Froggy followed them, not sure who or how to help. This lunatic broke down one of my kingdom's gates and rode her horse all the way into my throne room, lassoed me, and dragged me all the way here, Red said. And now she's going to kill me. Yes, I am, Goldilocks said. Do you remember why Goldilocks is so mad at Red? Yeah, she's the one that set her up, and now she's been on the run ever since. Wait, why are you going to kill Queen Red Riding Hood? Froggy asked. Because she's mental, said Red. She knows why, Goldilocks said. They reached the edge of the pit, and the twins grew very nervous that they were about to witness a murder. They'll hang you for this, Red shouted. They won't be able to prove anything, Goldilocks said, and they'll never find your body. Goldilocks stood up on her own 2 feet. She was still tied, stood right up on her own 2 feet. She was still tied up, and Goldilocks began aggressively pushing her toward the pit's edge. Please don't do this, Red pleaded. It was such a long time ago. We were kids. We haven't been kids for years, Goldilocks said. You've had plenty of time for redemption. I love him too. I was just doing what I thought I had to, Red said. You just couldn't stand by. You just couldn't stand that I had something that you didn't, Goldilocks yelled. Goldilocks went in for the final push, but Red dodged it, and Goldilocks almost fell into the pit herself. Red ran away from her as fast as possible, running along the edge of the pit. The plants below moved with excitement. They knew one of them was bound to fall in. Come here, Goldilocks yelled. Get away from me, you fugitive, Red said. They did an entire lap around the pit, and Red ran into the castle ruins. Goldilocks took the sword and began swinging it at her, barely missing her by inches. This is awful, Alex said with her hands covering her cheeks. This is awesome, Connor said. $5, said Goldilocks wins. The twins wanted to help, but there was nothing that they could do without getting in harm's way. We used to be such good friends, Red said, constantly ducking Goldilocks' sword. You don't know what a friend is, Goldilocks said, her swing coming in much closer each time. You could have cleared my name the day you became queen of that pathetic kingdom. I never wanted to be queen in the first place. I just wanted to impress him, Red confessed. Who's him? Jack. Keeping an outlaw kept you away from him. It wasn't anything personal. Personal? Goldilocks said, absolutely infuriated. Forcing me to live a life running and committing crimes to survive because you wanted to steal my boyfriend wasn't personal? She swung her sword hard at Red and knocked a big chunk out of the ruined stone wall. Red ran up the decaying staircase. It was the only place left to go. Goldilocks ran up after her. Red was cornered. The only way to escape was to jump into the pit. If you let me go, I'll clear your name, Red begged. Liar, Goldilocks said. I'll give you my castle. Half of it is being rebuilt because of the fire. It looks wonderful, Red said. I don't want your castle. I want revenge, Goldilocks said, and pushed Red off the staircase. Red screamed "Ah!" as she fell down toward the pit. The vines reached toward her, happy to be fed. Suddenly, a rope came out of nowhere and lassoed Red around the waist just as she fell into the pit and was swallowed up by the vines and thorn bush. What the? Goldilocks said. The twins and Froggy turned to see a woman riding a black horse on the other side of the pit, holding the end of the rope. It's the huntsman's daughter, Connor yelled and pointed at her. Red screamed as the vines pulled her down toward the bottom of the pit. The huntsman's daughter tied the rope to the horse and took off. Red was yanked out of the pit and dragged behind her. Not again! Red screamed. She was dragged off the horizon, now a captive of the huntress. Goldilocks. I'm getting another phone call. Goldilocks was watching a stranger ride off with her chance at revenge. She hopped down from the staircase and Porridge joined her by the ruins. What just happened? Connor asked, completely overwhelmed by the excitement. I don't know, Alex said, but after seeing the huntsman's daughter, I have a bad feeling. Who was that woman? Goldilocks asked. The huntsman's daughter, Connor said. She's working for the evil queen. The evil queen? Goldilocks said, growing even angrier. We have to get as far away from this place as possible, Alex instructed. Oh no, Froggy said softly. He looked more frightened than the twins had ever seen him. Out of the distance, the big bad wolf pack crept towards them. The wolves were all growling, more irritated and vicious than ever. Steam was practically coming out of their nostrils. They surrounded the twins, Froggy, Goldilocks, and Porridge. Goldilocks stood in front of the twins. Even she was scared. She normally wouldn't have even considered the wolves to be more than she could handle. But the way they stayed at the group, hungry and irritated. She knew this wasn't going to be a sporting encounter in the forest. After what you put us through, we ought to claw your hearts out. Malcolm growled through gritted teeth at the twins. And look who decided to join them. I guess we get Red Riding Hood and Goldilocks tonight. The rest of the wolves howled in excitement. Just to let you know, you just missed Red Riding Hood, Connor said. Nice try, Malcolm said. What do you want with the children and an overgrown frog? Goldilocks asked. We're taking the children to the evil queen, Malcolm said. We have no interest in a frog. Diggin', boys. Froggy's face turned pale. The wolves moved toward him, snapping their massive jaws in the direction. Froggy turned to the twins. I'm going to get help, children, Froggy whispered to the petrified twins. The wolves leaped toward him, but Froggy jumped twice as high into the air, and the wolves missed him. Froggy landed on the other side of the circle, and the wolves had formed around him and took off running. A few wolves chased after him as he disappeared in the distance. Froggy! Alex yelled after him. All they could do was pray he would be all right. Porridge, Goldilocks said. I want you to get out of here, you understand? This is one battle we won't be able to win. The horse was hesitant to leave her at first, but she nodded. She took off in the same direction Froggy had leaped. The wolf tried to attack the horse as she left, but Porridge kicked the wolf with her hind legs, and the wolf landed in the thornbush pit. He whimpered the entire way to the bottom, as the vines wrapped themselves around the wolf and dragged him toward the bottom forever. The rest of the wolves weren't going to allow any more escapes. We're going to see the queen, Malcolm growled. And if anyone else tries to run off, it'll be the last thing you do. The twins trembled. Goldilocks put her hands on the twins' shoulder, leaned close to them, and whispered into their ears. Be brave, children, Goldilocks said. Courage is one thing that no one can ever take away from you. And that's the end of the chapter. Ooh, the next one's going to be good. The Heart of Stone. We're going to learn some info about the evil queen that I've been waiting to hear since the very first chapter. Until next time, guys. Love ya. Bye.